Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday News right here on 3FM 92.7. We come to you live from our studios here at Adissa Wikanda in Accra and affiliates across the country. We're also live on Facebook as well. Coming up this afternoon, an easy calm in Boko and surroundings as government beefs up security following renewed clashes. Also this afternoon, government says it has begun a process of renegotiating debts owed independent power producers who until recently threatened to withdraw their services. Plus, we're learning work on the General Hospital project has come to a halt with the October deadline to open OPD services fast approaching. We have details of these and many more coming up in the next 30 minutes. Do stay. My name is Judith Brown. Well, in our first story, the Ghana Police Service and the Ghana Armed Forces have assured the public of intensified efforts to control the security situation in Bako and its surrounding regions after renewed conflict claimed at least 7 lives. Now, the statement issued on Sunday said a joint operation has been deployed not only within Bako, but also along the critical Bolgatanga-Walewale-Tamale Highway, aimed at stabilizing the area and ensuring safety of residents and travelers. Now, the violence in Boko, a long-standing conflict fueled by chieftaincy disputes, reignited when Alhaji Seidu Abagri, a rival chief who had been in exile, returned to the area. Now, this led to renewed tension between factions, culminating in violent confrontations and the loss of multiple lives. My colleague, correspondent in the northern region, Senyana Castro, joins us with an update on this. He is in the Upper East region. He is bringing us more on this. Good afternoon, Castro. Now, what is the situation in Boko a day after some of these clashes? Castro, if you can hear me, I'm asking really what is the situation in Boko currently after the clashes happened yesterday?
Good afternoon, Judith. Yes, calm is gradually returning to Boko municipality, but we understand that a group of individuals have gone to lock up the municipal assembly as we speak now, leaving notes urging authorities to arrest the rival chief who entered the township. We understand that this alone is further plunging the area into chaos. But between yesterday in the evening to this morning, the security agencies, which includes the police and the military, were able to bring the situation under control and people began to move out of their houses. But this morning, following the recent development, we understand that tensions are currently building up in that municipality. We understand that the youth groups who we are yet to identify mobbed up around the premises of the assembly and pasted notices on the doors, windows, and vehicles that were parked there. And these notes are calling for authorities to arrest and prosecute the rival chief. Or these youth groups that is faceless have warned that they will burn down the premises in the coming days if their actions and demands are not heeded to.
Rana Castro, I can only imagine the type of tension in the area currently. 7 lives have been lost currently. What really are the families of these people saying? Have you been able to make contact with them? And what is the situation in the area?
It's very difficult to get into Boko as I speak now. We can only monitor the situation from safe place closer to the township. But what I can report is that there have been several calls, first of all, from the Boko municipality asking for increased security, especially to protect lives and property of people who don't have anything to do whatsoever with the conflict, people who don't belong to either side of the conflict. And also another concern has been that traders who move into Boko and out of Boko and other areas have increased calls asking for state security agencies to increase presence along the Boko-Boga highway as much as the Boko-Tamale-Walewale highway. Because during times like this, these highways are very dangerous because a lot of the attacks happen on there. Traders say because of the attacks, they are unable to move in and out. both municipalities, and that is going to affect the supply of essential goods and services. So the calls essentially are that the military, police should be on the roads and man them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to ensure that everyone is safe.
Now, lastly, we know that this is a political season. How has this issue impacted campaigning currently?
Judith, look, when it comes to issues of campaigning, a lot has been suspended. We have the NDC suspending activities. We have the MPP suspending activities. Parliamentary candidates coming out openly to announce suspension of their activities. A whole running mate of the NDC came all the way from Accra to campaign. She comes, the area is volatile. She senses it, and she has, she was compelled to cancel activities in all 6 constituencies of the Kusok area. Judith, this goes to tell you that the area is tense, and anything political or any campaigning will not be done anytime soon, because if you try, you may end up exacerbating the issue. But the concerns and the calls from these political actors have been that the people should let peace reign. They should collaborate with the local authority, that's the district assembly, the chieftaincy institutions, and also to be patient themselves as the law enforcement agencies take control over the situation and bring everything down, so that at least on the 7th of December we can all go together and cast our ballot.
Many thanks for your time, Castro Senyala. He is in the Upper East region, bringing us details of what's happening currently in the Boko Township. Of course, interesting developments there. Let's bring in a security analyst and lecturer, Dr. Victor Doke. Good afternoon, sir. Now, the signs were on the wall from the very moment the appeals court gave its decision. Would you say that the security apparatus went to sleep?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good day to you and then your listeners. Now, for the security apparatus or security services, there was a lapse. There was a big challenge with regards to monitoring the situation, monitoring this gentleman, because when you're talking about this chieftaincy conflict, which has spanned over decades, prolonged and protracted, you would, in anybody's security process, okay, you would definitely have to ensure that you monitor the activities of the said Seidu for him not to enter Boko. If you can remember some months back, I emphatically stated on this same platform, TV3, that Seidu should not be allowed to enter Boko, else we're going to have clashes. And this is what exactly has happened. So I think on the part of security, intelligence, big question mark. We have personnel manning notable border areas, border towns. So the question comes to mind, how did Seidu get into Boko? Who aided Seidu? Or which group, either from the security services, either from political powers, that be, which institution aided Seidu to enter Boko? Now, the consequences is what we are seeing. With regards to the litigation, the High Court revoked the arrest warrant. What can be done with regards to this situation now? My take is that we get Seidu out of Boko for calm to be restored. One, if not, the Kusasis will never agree that a so-called rival chief is in the same town when you have an already skinned Okunaba recognized by law. Okay? This would not end. The fighting, the armed confrontation will not end, no matter how many soldiers you send in there. And you're looking at resolving the conflict once and for all.
So are you saying essentially that no matter how much police and military deployment is made to the area, this has been the order of the day ever since these Boko conflicts started? Are you saying that this is not sustainable?
My dear sister, if it is, how long can you sustain it? We are looking at funds. We talked about some 6 billion where the national security, uses for operations in Boko. Okay, what has happened? So big question marks comes in. If the 6 million, as what we've been told, is being used, okay, for specific, activities relation to this conflict, then we shouldn't be here, because then we'll be sure that part of that funds will be used to boost and build capacity when it comes to intelligence. Now, no matter how many troops you send in there, it's only going to hold the clashes. You are not solving the conflict. When we talk about solving the conflict, we're talking about two sides coming to the table, okay, with a mediator, and then agreeing that per the chieftaincy, this is what has been agreed upon by law, okay, by statutory declarations. You cannot get a chieftaincy, so let's move on. The two sides agree. Then you can say you've come to a conclusion, the conflict is being declared over. Then you pull out the soldiers from there. You can send as many troops you want in there, but you would agree the conflict would not be resolved. You are only looking at a direct prevention measure, which is using the troops to quell or curb armed confrontations. Even as at this moment there are troops there, we've been hearing cacophonous shootings for the past 3 days. So, there are a lot of questions. What mechanisms? What are their modus operandi? Are they not working? Okay, what is actually going on the field there? I think the stakeholders are missing a point. In this regard, the will of the political elites, the will of the people with regards to the Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee, the state apparatus, the National Peace Council, the National House of Chiefs, that are supposed to have a sustained engagement when it comes to this conflict is in question as of now. We will have these kind of confrontations if care is not taken. And then earlier on, I stated in one other sister station that scenarios may play out. One, you will have confrontation going on into December, and when it happens like that, you cannot vote. So what will happen? There will be a state of emergency declared in that area, which will go against a political party.
Many thanks for your time.
Looking at a situation where we need to attack the issue and then commit. Other than that, we are getting nowhere.
Many thanks for your time. Dr. Victor Doke is a security analyst and a lecturer as well. He's been speaking on the security situation currently at the Boko community. Let's do one of our headline stories now. And this afternoon, we are learning work on the ongoing General Hospital project has come to a halt, with the October deadline to open OPD services fast approaching. The reconstruction of the General Hospital has lingered since 2020, when President Akufo-Addo cut short for the project after the old facility was demolished. After more than 3 years, construction started this year with an October deadline to open OPD services to indigents of La. That, however, will not be the case, with workers abandoning the site over financial issues. Sarah Apenkro is following the developments. Let's get updates from her right now from the grounds. Sarah, you have been to the site. What is it looking like?
Judith, rightly said, I'm speaking to you from the General Hospital Redevelopment Project site. And as we speak, there is no single worker on site. The whole place is as quiet as a cemetery. The site is the I cited, who also refused to speak to me on authority or give me any information that could affect the residents of the workers had told us that the work had stalled as a result of lack of opinion work. So as we speak, there is no worker into the community actually to speak to some residents who leaving or until yesterday, the final batch.
Right, Sarah, if you can hear me, could you kindly position yourself when we are having a bit of challenges hearing you properly? If you can position well, and then we speak to you well.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can. Can you continue?
Yeah, so like I was saying, there are no workers on site. You can see the ground floor concrete work done with some pillars for the first floor. But there is nothing actually happening. The staff accommodation is actually almost completed. It's a floor structure, which it is full with concrete and everything, that you could see that work has progressed very well at that site. At the main hospital facility, which we are expecting that by the end of this month or early next month, government should be commissioning it for the residents to at least have access to OPD services, is nothing to write home about. The residents are not happy because they kept witnessing the workers leave the site almost every day until yesterday, the final batch packed for the various regions they were coming from. So they are not happy and they want government and tell them something, whether to have information they are receiving and no longer available for the work to progress is true or not.
Right. You've been speaking to some residents. Let's listen to them currently.
Oh, okay. I think from past almost 7 months now they are working. But recently I learned that they're not working again. Why? Because the money is finished. Government is not paying them. And that's what I know. But often I don't know anything about it again. Government is not paying them. So some of my workers, they're my friends. If you ask them, they say, oh, they are going back to where they're coming from.
Do you have any concern, something to tell government regarding if indeed funds are finished, what it should do to ensure the project is completed within time?
I will put the government to speed up, to look for funds to give to the contractor to start working on it so that people will be saved over here. So I'll put the government to start working on any projects which is ongoing. You should look for funds to give to the contractors to start working.
How has the delay in the completion of the project affected you, members of the community?
Oh, it will affect us in this community a lot. From here to when this hospital is working, people go to hospital here. The distance is very short. But recently, if someone is sick, someone has to go to Lekma police hospital, which hospital is far. Recently, I learned that someone died because of heart attack. I don't know what it is. Someone died just over here. If the hospital is there, at least the person might be survived.
You know, yesterday we were here before. We saw some of the workers telling me that, oh, they are packing their things, they are going. And we don't know what is happening now. You know, this hospital, this is where we get, let me say, we get our daily bread. And you have a taxi driver who used to pick people here and then. And I sell here too. You know, because of the breakup of the polyclinic, nothing is going on, and we are not seeing anything.
Did they tell you the reason why they are no longer working?
No, they didn't tell us anything.
Well, you heard there's some residents around the La General Hospital that has been demolished. You saw there, if you're on our Facebook page, you'd have seen some of the visuals of what work has commenced there. Currently, work has stalled. We'll go on a short commercial break. We'll be back with more news. Do stay with us right here on 3FM 92.7.
Big money. Want more money, more moolah, more kudi, more sika, or more l'argent?
Yes.
Then win more moolah with 30 Ghana Cedis free credit when you play Game Park's Pick 1 and Pick 4 games for the first time.
How?
Just dial *946# or visit the nearest Game Park agent to play, get your first bet, and win on us with a 30 Ghana Cedi welcome bonus.
Oh, yes. It's all about the moolah.
Win more moolah with Game Park today. Go to GameParkGames.com for more information. Game Park is licensed by the NLA. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under 18 years.
Welcome back right here to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Let's do some more stories. And power supply is expected to greatly improve in the coming days following agreements reached with some independent power producers. Now, there have been fears of a possible return to load shedding after Sonon Asogli shut down its 550 megawatts power plant over debts owed it. Now, the development, according to the Finance Minister, Dr. Amin Adams, was the exhibition of bad faith by Sonon Asogli, who, according to the minister, have now agreed to government's terms for a renegotiation of their debts.
I had meetings with Asogli and we agreed that we will pay. But we wanted them to sign the settlement agreement because this is one of the terms of the agreement. They said, no, we should pay before they sign. But if it is part of the settlement agreement, why should I implement an agreement that has not been signed? And so we communicated this to Asogli, only for Asogli to come and say they no longer want 30 million, now they want 60 million. And if we don't pay them 60 million, they will shut down. That is why they shut down. Right. And so people behave as if we as a country, we don't know our rights or we don't know what we want, especially when election is closer. Everybody thinks that, look, I can put a gun on the head of Ghana. And so by going ahead to shut down, they acted in bad faith. This is not how partners work together, particularly when it involves financial negotiations. So they shut down. We continue to produce power. I was informed only yesterday that they are ready to sign the settlement agreement. And so we've instructed ECG to go ahead and sign. That should help in normalizing our relationship so we can move on. And so by signing that agreement will also mean that the third IPP is also done as far as the restructuring is structured.
Well, let's bring in an energy analyst and executive director for the Institute of Energy Security, Nana Mwesi the 7th. Good afternoon, Nana. What do you know to be the cause of the current power outages being experienced in parts of the country?
Judith, good afternoon to you and to your listeners and viewers via the various media. What we understand, as you know yourself, is that Asogli power plant has been shut down for non-payment of bills or money owed by government. There is a 550 megawatt plant, representing almost about 12% of our installed capacity. A very strong thermal plant in two phases, very important in the equation of our power supply as a country. And so if they pull it out, it means that we have a deficit in power generation. And if there is no other way to make up for the loss, then of course there must be some load shedding to balance the grid. What we know is that when Asogli power plant shut down, luckily we got gas directed to the Kumasi thermal plant to come on stream, and that's about 150 megawatt thereabouts. It's not enough. One other thing is that gas was directed from Asogli to Bridge Power, an idle power plant, to come on stream. That is also around 115 megawatts. So put the two together, we're talking about almost half of what is lost. There is still a deficit of more than 250 megawatts. And so over the last 10 days or so, power is being shared. It started as a low key in the rural areas, but gradually it's eating into the city because bridge power is not reliable as we speak. And also, government made a move to import power from La Côte d'Ivoire. Currently, the imports of power are seized. So still the deficit stands. Yesterday, as I monitored from Ekunfiabo towards Mankasim, what I find is that the entire Mankasim town went down in the evening and came back late. I'm sure you experienced same in Accra and other areas. So gradually, the low-key Dumso, is coming to a situation where we may have a blown-out one if we are not able to bring Asogli online or if we are not able to import power. This is what we know.
Well, the finance minister says that they're engaging Son and Asogli to resolve the issues. Do you think that this will be enough to resolve the issues with the IPPs?
Well, an engagement is a start to some of these issues, but then it depends on which side of the road that you use to engage. It becomes more acrimonious where we start to blame games. Then, of course, it becomes difficult to engage constructively at the table I think that we need cool heads to prevail at this moment. Asogli must be open to communication. Government must be open to proper and effective engagement so that we have a sound power sector as a country.
Right, many thanks for your time. That was Nana Mwisi the 7th. He's an energy analyst and executive director for the Institute for Energy Security. Well, we've been sampling the views of power consumers, and they say that the power outages over the past 1 week is affecting businesses and domestic consumers. Let's take a listen.
Tumuswa is bad for some time, but for now it's okay. It's better than before because for now the light can go off within 1 hour, 2 hours. It's back.
Okay.
So we have the light to do our work. But before it can go off a week, like 2 times a week, 3 times a week. Before, but for now it's okay.
So before means what time? What period of time are you looking at?
3-4 months ago.
Okay.
3-4 months ago. But for now, it's better. It can go off within 2-3 hours. It's back.
Okay, so for now you're still getting light out, but it is the duration is shorter.
It's short.
So maybe the light goes off maybe around 9 a.m. It comes back like 12 noon. It's working. Okay.
But the problem is that they don't the information. You have to inform them before the light goes.
Okay.
You understand? If they want to off the light, today the light will go off. But there's no information. That's why.
Well, you heard there, my colleague Noble Crosby and engaging some of power consumers who have been expressing challenges they've been facing as a result of the power cuts. Let's do some more stories. And President of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, Prince Obinhima, is warning of an imminent strike by CTAG members because government has shown bad faith in its assurance to migrate them to a new salary structure. This would be the second time CTAG is striking after a 2-month-long industrial action which brought academic activities in all 46 public colleges of education to a halt. The aggrieved teacher union has been demanding for upward salary adjustment befitting university teachers. President of the association spoke to 3FM.
Been deceit, it's been one of rejection, it's been one of disappointment, and where we are now, looking at the economy, looking at the situation we find ourselves in, we just want to bring this to the knowledge of all Ghanaians and particularly people who are stakeholders in teacher education, that enough is enough. And where we are now, if government has demonstrated that they do not have welfare at heart, that our issue cannot be placed as a priority.
And let's do some more stories. And former Majority Leader Osechi Mensah Bonsu says leadership in Parliament will have to engage the Speaker, Alban Babing, to resolve the current controversy that led to the Speaker adjourning the House indefinitely. The Swami MP says even though he disagrees with the Speaker's ruling, which led to the 4 seats being declared vacant, consensus needs to be built. He spoke to Evelyn Tingma in an interview.
The St. Joseph the Worker Anglican Church marked 80 years of growth.
Apologies for that technical hitch, but we'll bring you that sound in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Judith Brown. A pleasure coming to you always right here on 3FM 92.7, and that's how we wrap up the news. Do stay tuned. Business continues.
Frequency 92.7 3FM.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Ghana set to receive $360 million IMF disbursements in December after third program review. We'll bring you details of that. Also, European Union leads the charge in using consumption patterns to control deforestation. We'll hear from Cocoa Board on EU's deforestation-free products regulation.
It's not consumed by EU at a greater rate. The impact will be small. They want to make impact.
My name is Manu Afful. We'll bring you details of our headlines and many other stories shortly. Thanks so much for your time. Well, we'll get into the details of our stories. Ghana is on track to receive a $360 million disbursement from the IMF following the upcoming third program review scheduled for December 2, 2024. This funding, along with additional World Bank support, aims to bolster the country's reserves and stabilize the cedi as the year ends. The following 3 Business News Desk report has more.
Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has announced that the IMF Executive Board will meet on December 2, 2024 to discuss Ghana's third program review. If approved, this review will trigger a $360 million disbursement to the Bank of Ghana aimed at supporting the government's budget and balance of payment needs. This follows a staff-level agreement reached earlier in October after IMF representatives reviewed Ghana's financial data up to June 2024. Speaking at the IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C., Dr. Amin Adam highlighted that Ghana has met all necessary program requirements, setting the stage for the disbursement. The finance minister further noted that this installment would bring the total IMF funds received to $1.92 billion since Ghana entered the program. Additionally, Ghana is anticipating a $300 million disbursement from the World Bank, which will contribute to strengthening the country's reserves and stabilizing the cedi. Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam also welcomed the IMF's revised economic growth forecast for Ghana, adjusted from 3% to 4% for 2024, and reported positive investor feedback on Ghana's ongoing economic reforms.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. In more stories, the European Union has taken a groundbreaking step to combat deforestation and promote sustainable production practices. The EU's new regulation, known as the Deforestation-Free Products Regulation, aims to prevent products linked to deforestation from entering the EU market. According to Deputy Director of Research and Development at Ghana Cocoa Board, Michael Eko Amwa, products will only be accepted if the land used for production has not been deforested after December 31st, 2020.
We may have a product that causes deforestation, but it's not consumed by EU at a greater rate. The impact will be small. They want to make impact. So the two must be high. It must cause deforestation at a high rate. It must also be consumed by EU at a high rate, so that if you control it, you make impact in terms of global warming. So these are the science and data that inform it. It is progressive. The science and data may show different pattern. Consumption pattern EU may change, production pattern may change, and some other community may come in scope, and some may move out of scope. So it is progressive. It's not discriminatory because it applies to both import and export from the EU. Another critical element is the cut-off date. I call it the tolerance level of the EU. This cut-off date is the date to which, or the extent to which EU is prepared to accept deforestation. You cannot go into deforestation ad infinitum. If you do that, then there will be nothing to consume.
Deputy Director of Research and Development at Cocoa Board, Michael Eko Amwa, also noted companies must conduct thorough risk assessments to ensure their products do not contribute to deforestation or face sanctions. EU member states will enforce the regulation and non-compliant companies will face fines and reputational damage.
Revenue, if it has been circulated already, revenue earned or gained from the product can be confiscated. You may be excluded, the operator and trader may be excluded from public procurement for 1 year, or you may be banned from importing or exporting any commodity in scope to the EU for 1 year.
That was Deputy Director of Research and Development at Cocoa Board, Michael Eko Amua. Now, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has clarified that its members do not oppose the installation of digital stamp machines at factories. Executive Chairman John Awuni stated that while the Ghana Revenue Authority has the right to implement new machines to improve compliance, this should not come at the expense of manufacturers and, by extension, consumers. The association's statement follows concerns expressed by Seth Chuma Kwabwa, Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, during the annual general meeting of the Tema branch of AGI.
The GRA can continuously introduce new machines if they find faults or they find gaps in compliance among manufacturers or among businesses. GRA is at liberty to do that, to enhance their enhance tax compliance, to also increase their revenue mobilization. But they don't have to do that at the expense of the manufacturers, just as ECG introduces new machines from time to time, but not at the expense of consumers. So the GRA can also go procure new machines, install at the manufacturer's premises when they find it necessary, at their full cost, at the full cost of the GRA, at the full cost of government, but not at the expense of manufacturers. It is not the duty of manufacturers to go look for digital machines, install at their own cost, and so as to enhance tax and pay taxes again to the government. I don't think that that is acceptable. And the AGM must make this very, very, very clear.
That was Executive Chairman of Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, John Awuni. Away from that, also, President and Chief Executive of Society for Human Resource Management, Johnny Taylor Jr., has urged human resource practitioners to strengthen their relationships with executives to achieve success within their organizations. Addressing the media at the recent Global Conference on Human Resource in Africa, the experts highlighted 3 key principles essential for HR professionals to advance in their careers. The 2024 conference focused on the theme, a global discourse on exploring the emergence and dynamics of artificial intelligence and human resource technologies in Africa.
So just because people called themselves HR professionals did not mean they were competent to practice HR, especially in a knowledge-based economy. It's complex, it's complicated, it's nuanced. And so therefore we need people who are competent first and most and importantly. Secondly, though, it's not enough to just be competent. You've got to have a relationship with your executive team. The executives, for all that you are, as smart as you are, if they don't understand you and understand that you understand them, if they don't have a business relationship with you, then no matter how competent you are, you won't be successful. And then finally, it's courage. Now, we do talk about competency, of course. Then you've got to have the courage to do what you do. And that means having those tough conversations with business leaders about their human capital management. It is incredibly important. Those 3 elements we have found across the globe, Sherm researches this, those are the 3 things that make for a very strong HR professional.
President and Chief Executive of Society for Human Resource Management, Johnny Taylor Jr. Before we go take a look at our top stories for the day. Ghana set to receive $360 million IMF disbursement in December after 3rd program review. The European Union leads a charge in using consumption patterns to control deforestation. We'll go to details of that and much more. That's it for Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's www.3news.com. My name is Manu Afful. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.